Hello everyone, Melody here, mom of 4 in our blended family of 6. Welcome to Homeschool Happy Hour. Today I wanted to talk to you briefly about unschooling or child-directed learning. Are they the same thing? Are they different? And what do I think about them? Before we go any farther, please take a second to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow us on Instagram at Homeschool Happy Hour. I'm really excited to be building this community. I am this close to our 1-year anniversary of my very first video out there. I had set a goal for myself to reach 500 viewers by my 1-year anniversary, but I have surpassed that goal. I'm really excited about it. And now we're looking toward that next milestone of 1,000 subscribers. This is thrilling to me and a little bit unbelievable. I know it's small potatoes, small numbers in the world of YouTube, but in my little universe, it's pretty exciting. So thank you very much for all of you who have hit that subscribe button already, and welcome for anybody who is new here. Like I said in the intro, I will be talking today about unschooling and child-directed learning. As I'm talking, I would love it if you guys would drop a comment in that box below and let me know, what do you think of when you hear the word unschooling? What thoughts, emotions, what comes to mind? Is it a positive, negative? What do you think? Or what is your experience with it if you have any? If you've been watching my videos, you will know that I am a type A personality, super structured, recovering perfectionist. And it is definitely an ongoing struggle to not fall back into some of the old habits that I have had based on those, I don't know, personality traits, characteristics, whatever you want to call them, habits, whatever they are. It's what comes naturally to me, and so I gotta work hard not to go down that road. When I first started homeschooling, we did much more of a public school at home type situation. Unschooling or child-directed learning has been a beautiful addition to our homeschool. I love what it offers us. Now, because it's something newer in our homeschool, I am not an expert on what unschooling is or child-directed learning and what that looks like. But I will tell you what it looks like for us, and I will tell you what I used to think it was. I used to think that unschooling meant that the parents did nothing. I thought that it was a fancy term for letting your kids run free with zero guidance, zero facilitation, and just ignoring their academic and cognitive needs. I thought of it initially as educational neglect. I'm a little bit ashamed to say that, but I'm just trying to be honest with you and give you an idea of where I was coming from in my old judgmental thought process and comparing that to where I've transitioned to now. Now, I feel like just like any homeschooling method, there's really no one way to do any particular method. Like, the only person that was ever a pure Montessori was Marie herself, or Maria. I don't remember. But like, that's it. We take these ideas and then people are so focused on the purity of it. And I don't understand that. I feel like take what you like, leave the rest. And so for some people, unschooling might be a lot more freedom than what we do. They might see what we do and they might say that's not unschooling, that's not child-directed learning. But in my mind, we are incorporating it more into our homeschool. But I would definitely say we are not purists. What do I mean by unschooling or child-directed learning? When I use these terms, I'm using them as somewhat synonymous. I feel like, to me, unschooling is letting go of the expectation that an adult must hover over and direct children throughout the entirety of their education. It's letting go of the idea that you have to sit down and complete A, B, C, D, that you have to approach certain subjects in certain ways. It's letting go of those walls that we put around ourselves in an attempt to try and do things right. To me, it is child-directed learning. It is listening to your children and listening to things that they're interested in and watching and seeing their learning style, and then choosing to approach learning in a way that interests them and in a way that appeals to their learning style. I feel like if you're able to do those two things, then you are looking at a recipe for success. Now, some children might do really, really well with an unschooling child-directed learning format where you just say, okay, here's some things I want you to do. Good luck. I'm here if you need me, I'm over there. My older homeschooler, the prisoner, she is very much that way. She excels when she's left to her own devices. For us, I have chosen to discuss with her what she's interested in, to talk to her about what she wants to learn, and then to seek specific curriculum based on that. Now, I still expect her to do math and reading and writing and science and history and all these things. And so there is structure within that. We have our subject areas, but then she can tell me, you know, in science, I want to learn physics or human anatomy or astronomy or geology or anything like that. The sky's the limit. Choose a science. What do you want to learn? So she can choose the subject. And then I go to her and I say, okay, well, what type of materials do you like the best? And so she loves to read. And so we're basing her science on a lot of literature-based stuff. I hand it over to her and then she just goes with it. And I tell her, okay, here are some of the expectations I'm going to expect you to have accomplished by the end of the year. I'm here to help you. If you need some help, let me know. Good luck. And she does really well with that. She learns more, she enjoys learning more, she has a general better attitude, and I love it. It frees me up to do other things because, as we know, as homeschool moms, homeschool can become all-encompassing if we let it, and it's hard to have a sense of self and to be able to do things that fulfill us. Not that homeschool isn't fulfilling, it absolutely is. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't want to be here. But I think you know what I mean about needing to step outside that and do things that are just our interests as well. And so when she's able to have the freedom to follow her interests, she learns more, she's happier, I get to do things that I enjoy doing. Now my other homeschooler, Bean, she's different. Of course, they have different personalities. This is normal, this is natural. She prefers that I have more hands-on with her. She wants me to do more things with her. So I can't sit here and say, if you let your kids just run free and give them freedom, let them choose and let them go and they'll do great. I'm not gonna tell you that. I'm going to tell you that that will work really well for some children. Some children want more structure, and that is something as parents that we need to decide, we need to evaluate, and we need to choose what is best for our child and what they need combined with our personality and our best way to approach things, and then come up with some kind of combination of the two that works for everyone. Bean does like to have some independent time. She actually learns really well with anything that's hands-on. She wants to get down and dirty and involved with what she's doing. I noticed when we were trying to do things together, I would sit and I'd read, and while the prisoner has a tendency, like she'll sit and color or draw and listen to my words and she's fine and happy. Bean on the other hand, she wants to get up. If we talk about a science concept or a history concept, she wants to get up and move her body and go to the whiteboard and show me a drawing of her interpretation of what we just talked about, because she wants to move her body. Or if I'm reading to her, she wants to be on the yoga ball, just bounce, 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 bounce. But she wants that interaction. She wants to move her body. So for her, unschooling or child-directed learning means not that I am hands-off so much as I am with the prisoner. For her, it means more of talking to her about what subjects she's interested in and choosing materials that she can get her hands on, that she enjoys, topics that she enjoys, and focusing more on those. I hope that makes sense. So for us, unschooling / child-directed learning they go hand in hand. I get a little cautious about using the term unschooling because of the stereotype that can be associated with that. But I would just ask that people try not to stereotype any homeschool style, because like I said, it usually doesn't look the same in any two homes. So if you are wondering if unschooling, child-directed learning is right for you and your child, then what I would do is let go of any preconceived notions of what you think that looks like, and then maybe just dip your toes into a little bit and see how well does this work for us. My children are a little bit older. They're 10 and 12 years old right now. I know that if I had let loose as much as I'm letting loose now when they were much, much younger, I believe for their personality types, that would not have suited their academic needs as well. I believe part of the reason why I'm able to do that now is because of some of the structure we had when they were younger, as we built that structure. I think I was too structured for too long, for sure, but I think some structure is essential, and I'm not saying that you should go without it. If that's what you or your children, or you and your children need in your home. Don't feel pressured to change it because somebody says, oh, this is the most amazing method I've ever seen. Okay, well, it might be the most amazing for person A, and it might be a total flop for person B. So I'm just trying to share with you what our experience has been going to child-directed learning. The kids are loving it. I am loving it. They appear to be learning more. They appear to be retaining more information. In the past, I think we covered more subjects. We went through more material, but we didn't learn as much because they could go through the motions and they could make the steps, but they weren't invested in what they were learning. And so it was just kind of going in one ear and out the other, which is not what we want as homeschoolers. Now, some people get a little bit worried because they're like, well, if I just let them focus on the things they want to focus on, then these other essential skills will they won't get addressed, and then they'll be behind, that word that we all fear and loathe at the same time. But what I would suggest is this. Reading is essential. 100% essential. If you can teach your child to read in a way that they love, so that they learn that reading is a joy, they can learn anything. So if your child doesn't learn the exact same history, science, language arts information as a public school peer, first of all, I would suggest that a year or less from when they learned that subject, the public school peer probably isn't going to remember it unless it was something they were really interested in. And the homeschool child is probably not going to remember it unless it's something they're interested in. And so while this public school peer is being forced to go through these steps and do these things that they're not going to remember, they're not going to retain because they're not interested in it, if that homeschool peer is allowed to explore their interests and their passions, then they are going to fill their mind with so many useful and valuable things. Maybe that will lead them to a passion that leads them to a career. Maybe that passion will change and it'll lead them to something else. But I learn new things every day. I'm almost 40 years old and I learn more now than I ever did as a child. And the things that I learned as a child often are applicable to my life now. If there's something I want to learn, if there's something I need to know, we're in the information age. It's available for you. If they need to know something later, if they can read, they can learn it. So I would argue that when they need it, they will learn it. As far as math, of course, basic math skills are essential. But if a child is not interested in higher level math and they don't need it, why does it matter? Why does it matter if they don't have calculus or trigonometry? I would argue that it does not, unless they choose a career that they need that in which case they can learn it when they need it. I hope that makes sense to you guys. So my argument is that if we allow a little bit more academic freedom, if we allow a little more academic exploration, which means stepping back from some of the things that we feel we need to force, because there's just not enough time in the day to do both, then our children will learn more, they will be happier, and their education will be just fine because they will learn what they need. I hope that video makes sense for you. If you have questions about child-directed learning or unschooling, or how we have transitioned from public school at home to child-directed learning, drop a comment and let me know. If you have a strong opinion on this, drop a comment and let me know. As always, thank you for joining us, and I will catch you next time.